Welcome to the last lesson in our unit on manipulation for IB Psychology Cognitive Approach and Thinking and Learning. Right, we're going to look at a specific example of how SLT has been applied in entertainment education. Remember we did social learning theory back in COLTS, and it appears in 4 different parts of the guide as well. So we're going to look at it in human relationships, that was COLTS, and it's also in the unit on addiction, and we're looking at it here. So lots of chances to review social learning theory. That's why I'm only doing one lesson on it here. So really this lesson, the key is to review the key claims of social learning theory, know what entertainment education is, and then how can SLT be used to change behavior. And the short answer is, well, it's through entertainment education, right? That's the application of the principles of social learning theory. If you're like me and you forget always, you call it entertainment education, entertainment, they are interchangeable for the most part. This is the most common way of saying it, entertainment education. I now just remind myself, fun first, the fun thing first, entertainment, then education. Okay. Interesting, fascinating. Sprouts makes some great videos talking about John B. Watson, the father of behaviorism, who did the Little Albert study, and sadly what happened to his family. And there's a deeper dive into his influence on parenting through the 1950s is fascinating. Essentially, the cold, unloving approach to parenting, which now we're reacting. We've kind of reverted back, possibly too far the other way. But he had a really interesting impact on the world, the Western world especially. All right, do you want to know what happened to Little Albert? You can pique their curiosity here. 5 minutes. It's not the most interesting video. It could have been done probably in 2 minutes. So if time allows, or you can just skip to the end, skip through the video quickly and go, hey, he died when he was about 7. All right, there's a blue kit. This reviews the whole unit. Sorry, another Simpsons reference from me. Classic scene. This is from the episode where Marge protests against Itchy and Scratchy because it's promoting violence on TV. This is where Maggie smacks Homer over the head with a mallet because she saw it on telly. Now, our students, did they ever imitate something they've seen on television? I know I used to practice professional wrestling, WWF moves on my teddy bears when I was a kid. My brothers all fought each other, practicing their martial arts. They watched our movies, so discuss as a partner. And today they'll learn why it happens. Fill in the blanks, social learning theory. Again, I've given them the word list. So it should make it pretty easy. 3 minutes, do this by themselves and then compare notes with a partner. And then once they've got that, hey, look at that. In their notes, they've got a fantastic summary of social learning theory. All right. Think, pair, share, TV for good. So if we can learn bad behaviors, could we also learn good behaviors? And can students think of any examples where they've seen or could think of examples of how TV could promote pro-social behavior? And can they think of examples of where it has been done? I can still sing this jingle from this New Zealand television commercial. I've linked it there if you're interested. You don't have to watch it. It's silly. But, I mean, it's crazy to think that jingle stuck in my head. It's about putting garbage in the rubbish bin. Garbage bin, trash can. Gee, it's hard talking to an international audience. Anyway, social learning in Sesame Street. All right, now we get into Sesame Street. 3-minute clip about sharing. And so hopefully students, this is an example of Sesame Street. It's a classic example of teaching kids how to behave properly. Chalk talk on what entertainment education is. And we're using Sesame Street as the example. And then we're figuring out, well, does it work? Now, I'm always trying to think of more interesting ways and effective ways of teaching research and studies. They're really important. 75% of this IB Psychology exam will be based on knowing research methods. So, can they design a study that would see if Sesame Street actually helps kids learn? And I've put some scaffolds in the workbook. What would they measure? How would they measure it? And how would they see if it had an effect? And then share their ideas. So I think students are probably going to come up with mainly a correlational study, and they'll say they'll measure how many hours a week they spend Sesame Street and then see if that's related. And then you can explain, okay, that's correlational. If some students had the idea of, well, I'd find a group that didn't watch any and I'd find a group that watched some or 3 hours or more or something like that. You can talk about, well, that's a natural experiment, quasi-experiment, whatever you want to call it. Same thing in my brain. So we share their ideas, and then we can chalk and talk the meta-analysis. Right? So this has been a really commonly studied topic, and it suggests that there is a small but significant positive effect of watching Sesame Street on learning. And so Sesame Street was designed to help kids who don't go to preschool, especially in lower socioeconomic classes, groups, to catch up to their peers when they start school. All right, Chalk and Talk, the principles of SLT in entertainment education, and then get into their workbook notes. Okay, homework is to revise for the upcoming assessment since we're almost at the end, and then this is for you to edit to put in your dates here. Now the next lesson is a quick unit review. So I won't make a video explaining that one. It's very simply what we do at the end of every unit. The crossword puzzle, the key terms, traffic lights. It's got a blue code, a Jeopardy, some things there, and then it's up to you how you what and how your students revise based on the summative assessment you've chosen for this unit. If it was me teaching this unit, by this point in the course, I would give them probably with this topic, I think an applied short answer question, a closed book, exam.net, limit the amount of topics, maybe give them 4 topics and say you're going to get a scenario and you have to write an applied SAQ. I think that would be enough. Remember, if you don't assign it, you don't have to mark it. So, you could give them short answer questions, applied short answer questions, essays, and then they can write it, and then you've got to turn around and read it and mark it. So pick your poison. Okay, I really hope these videos were helpful, but I hope your students enjoy that unit on manipulation. More importantly, I hope you enjoy teaching it. Thank you.